Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the AK-47 in reference to the movie Red Dawn. Okay, so for those of you that are new to the channel, I've been doing a video series on Red Dawn militia tactics, and I'm trying to apply realistic militia tactics that would have been effective in that movie. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the AK-47 itself. And what we see in the movie is that they start off with hunting rifles, and what they do is at some point they transition to AK-47s, presumably as battlefield pickups. Okay, now, in this movie, just to give you guys a quick recap, in case somebody hasn't seen it, basically the United States is invaded by the Soviets and the Cubans, and they end up occupying half of it, and we have people behind enemy lines that are forming militias to fight the communists. Okay, so our militia fighters start off with hunting rifles, and at some point they get AK-47s as battlefield pickups. It would not have been difficult for them to learn, to figure out how to use the gun, as far as magazine changes, cycling the rifle, cleaning the rifle, all that stuff would have been easy. Obviously, those guns back then had wooden, a lot of wooden furniture, wooden stock, wooden foregrip. It would not have had a red dot on it. And, basically we're using the iron sights, and that's really what I want to focus on in this video, because although the gun itself is not difficult to learn to use, they would have been able to, learn that pretty quickly, because in this movie we see that these teenagers have had some experience with firearms. What they would probably have a little difficulty with is targeting, learning to aim with the gun. The AK-47 adjusts from the front sight post, and in order to do that, you need a tool. The tool looks like this, okay? So the way this works, turn the gun up like this, right? The way this works is you fit the clamp over here to the top, and what you do is you rotate this back and forth on either side to move the front sight post back and forth to adjust for windage. And then for elevation, you use this piece over here where you stick it in there and you twist that to adjust for elevation. So the Soviets would not have this tool on them. This basically stays with the armorer. The idea with the AK-47 is that it was designed for draftees, for conscripts. So they didn't want draftees tinkering with the sights on the gun. So they were happy to use a system like this that basically would not allow them to do that. So the armorer would sight the gun in, and then everybody would just have to learn how to use the gun. Let me put this down for a second. Okay, so the way the AK-47 is sighted in, it's sighted in for 100 meters. Okay, now there's a point of confusion, because if you look on the slider over here, okay, you have the slider, you have the numbers over here. So the 100 represents 100 meters, not 100 yards. Now at 100 yards, 100 meters is not that big of a deal, but 100 meters is actually 110 yards. It's going to make a bigger difference at longer distances. Now there is another position over here, and on mine it's the P position. Okay, what's going to happen is there's a good chance that they're going to see it in this P position. They're going to basically start using the gun from that P position, and they're going to be like, okay, this gun's just not accurate. We can't hit what we're aiming for. And the P position is basically a belt buckle zero. Okay, it's basically a 300-yard zero. The way the armorer would go about sighting in the AK, he would actually slide this up to the 300-yard position. Okay, and then not 300 meter position, right? So at 300 meters, he puts a target down range, and what he wants to do is, he aims at the bottom of the target, and he wants to hit 10 inches high. Okay, so that's the thing. It's 10 inches high at 300 meters, and then when they slide it back to the 100 meter position, okay, they should have a perfect zero. Okay, so what a lot of a way that a lot of people will use the sliders, they're just going to move it back up to the P position. Okay, the P position, or some AKs, it will be the D position. The D position is basically the 300-yard zero, 300 meter zero. I got used to meters. So let me slide it. So basically, as you can see you see how this thing kind of slides up like that. Okay, so you can see it back here. You see how it kind of pops up over there. Okay, that is basically the same height as what would be the 300 meters. Okay, so whether I have it slide it up to the 3 position there, okay, or whether I come all the way back and have it sit all the way back there, that is at 300 meters. And the idea here is that if you're fighting in an open field, like during World War II, the way they were envisioning a battlefield, like we had these open fields where you might be, shooting at enemies at 300-400 yards, and then you may have one pop up, at close distance, at 50 yards. They wanted to use a zero that they would be able to use from zero distance all the way out to 300-400 yards. And what they did is that's why they have that belt buckle zero. The idea is that you're aiming at the belt buckle and you're getting hits at the chest at 100 yards. So what that means is that at 300 yards, when you put your iron sights on the target, if let's say you're cutting the man in half, you're aiming over here. Now the bullet's already, because at 100 yards it's up here. By the time it gets to 300 yards, it's coming back down. So now you're getting hits down over here. So you can hit an enemy soldier from a zero distance all the way out to 300 yards and then some. Okay, so that's the idea with this P or this D setting. Okay, now if we're looking for point of aim, point of impact at 100 yards, 100 meters, we're gonna just shift this down to the 1 position, which stands for 100 meters. Okay, and now at 100 meters, it should, basically wherever we put our iron sights, the bullet should be hitting just above that. The problem with that is that at further distances now we have to use bigger holdovers. Okay, so that is the main adjustment that our militia fighters would have to make with the AK-47. Okay, because again, they don't have the adjustment tool, so they will have to get used to using it the way they find the gun. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it. If you have any other comments to add on the AK-47, I've done many videos on the AK, but I just want to make an AK video as part of this video series. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video series so far, and like I said, there will be a playlist in the comments section that you can click on, and you'll see all the videos I've done to date on this on the Red Dawn militia tactics. I'll talk to you guys soon.